Alright guys, so I did a community post a while back asking you what watch you wanted to see out of two options. The Bliger Speedmaster won out, but it was close, and this one is the other one that was in there. So I said I was going to get around to doing it, and here we are. So I'm not going to mess around, let's get right down to it. So, the reason I bought this watch, as you can probably imagine, is all because of this dial. I just found it really interesting. It's definitely unique. I've not seen anything like this before. So I asked the seller a couple of questions about this dial, and there's a couple of things I'm going to mention. Right off the bat, this isn't actually unique. Everyone who gets one of these, if you do order one, speaking of which, if you do want to pick one up, link will be in the description. Please consider using that if you do get one, as it helps support the channel. But like I say, this dial, this is going to be the one you get. They're not all different, they're all exactly the same. So, a little bit disappointing. Would have been nice if they'd all been unique, but I still think it looks good. And you don't really notice it all the time as well. It's quite interesting. Sometimes it's really noticeable, obviously in direct light, but if it's not in direct light, it kind of almost disappears. It's definitely interesting. That combined with the vintage style Lume as well. So you've got like a yellowy tinge on those indices and on the hands. I quite like that too. So while we're zoomed in as well, as you can see, we've got a small frame up around that date window. And then obviously we've got the Mercedes hands. And then all the indices are applied. And like I say, vintage style Lume with the yellow colour. And they've actually got a nice little silver surround around them. At least I think it's silver. Yeah, silver. Crisply done. All seem to be lined up nicely, so no issues there. So as for the rest of the watch, you can probably see straight away it is a little bit of a fingerprint magnet, because the case is fully polished. So fully polished sides, fully polished lugs, fully polished fixed bezel. So it does pick up smudges quite a lot, and fingerprints. Also, while we're around here as well, as you can see, sterile crown, and we've actually got a sterile case back as well, which is a screw down Rolex style one. Got solid end links though, which is good, and we have actually got the Rolex style glide lock clasp as well, which I'll quickly show you now. Just get zoomed in on that. There you go. So like I say, glide lock style. It's really easy to adjust. Just pull it out and then you can slide it and adjust it to wherever you need. Really easy to do. A little bit stiff this, because I haven't adjusted it too much, but that will get easier as you use it more. I've had this kind of style clasp on quite a few watches lately. I do really like it. And then you've got like the usual fold over. Again, similar to the Rolex style. As for the rest of that clasp, bracelet, sorry, that's all actually brushed, which is a little bit odd considering the case is fully polished. So it does look a little bit out of place. I would have thought they'd have had some kind of polished links on there somewhere, just to help it blend in a bit. But I guess you could always swap it out, put it on like a leather strap or something. Would probably go with the vintage look quite well actually. Oh, I forgot to mention too, I have actually had a bit of an issue with this bracelet, trying to resize it. Don't know if you can see on this one, on this link. It's a little bit scuffed up, a little bit battered, because I just cannot, for the life of me, get this screw out. Got all the other ones out quite easily. Had a little bit of trouble with that one, slipped and scuffed it slightly. But with this one, it's just not coming out. Tried everything. So if anybody knows any little tricks to try and get screws out that are stuck, let us know in the comments below. I'd appreciate it. Because I'll show you in a bit when I've actually got this on wrist. It doesn't quite sit right because I can't adjust the links properly. So it's slightly offset, which is a little bit annoying. But it's livable. And like I say, if you really want to, you can swap it out. I think it might look quite good on a leather strap. I might try it myself at some point. But as for the rest of the watch, because it's actually sterile, it doesn't actually have, obviously, any kind of specs on the back, so we don't know whether we've got sapphire crystal on this or if it's water resistant. According to the listing, it is sapphire crystal. As for water resistance, it says on the listing that it's actually 30 meters water resistant, but like I say, we've got a screw down case back, and we have actually got, as well, a screw down crown. So I think it should probably be at least 50, I think. Should be doable with having them. As for the movement, it doesn't actually specify from the seller I bought what the movement is in this. So pull it out once, change the date, pull it out again. We have actually got hacking. So second hand stops. And then obviously you can change the time. And again, obviously push it back in and second hand re-engages. And then we can screw it back down. We've got hand winding on this as well. So let's check whether we've got sapphire crystal. Using the trusty Diamond Selector 2. So as you can see, yep, we have got sapphire crystal. So that's always nice. Now let's get on to the measurements. So we've got a case thickness of about 12.5, 13 mil. Then we've got a diameter of 39 mil with a lug width of 20 mil and a lug to lug of 48 mil. It's quite nice dimensions, touch thick, but a lot of that is because of that case back. So now let's see what the Lume's like. So as you can see, not too bad, but let's charge it up, give it a real chance. And there we go. So it doesn't look too bad, does it? Initially, it is actually pretty bright, but as you can see, with the indices especially, they're not all that consistent. Some are brighter than others, some are fading quicker than others. So the Lume isn't really applied equally on the indices. The one at the 2 and the 8 are fading pretty rapidly, whereas a couple of the others are quite bright still. But overall, the Lume on this isn't fantastic. As you can see, it's all fading relatively quickly now. So don't be buying this watch for the Lume. It's alright for a little bit, but as you can see, it doesn't last all that long. It'll stay at this kind of level for a little bit, but it's definitely not bright. It's barely usable at this kind of level. And like I say, lasts at this kind of level a little bit longer, but not brilliant. Again, don't be buying it for the Lume. So all that's left to do now is show it you on wrist. So this is what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist. And it's all about that dial. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, I did actually speak to the seller, like I say, and they told me that the dial is actually a copper alloy. That was all they could say. The fact that it's copper alloy and the design is not unique to each watch. They're all going to have this same pattern. So if you do pick one up, that's what you're going to be getting. It's going to look exactly like that one. But again, I think it looks good. As for the rest of the watch, I'm still really annoyed about this. I can't get this out. So like I say, if anybody knows how to get stubborn screw links out, please let me know, so I can get that clasp in the middle of my wrist, because it's a little bit offset to this side, which is a bit annoying. Other than that, it's nice and comfortable. Again, with that glide lock system, you can get a perfect fit. That's not an issue. I do kind of wish that some of those links on the bracelet were polished to kind of match the case a bit. With it being all brushed, it's a little bit odd looking. With a fully polished case and a fully brushed bracelet, they don't kind of go together very well. So I'll probably try this on a leather strap at some point, because I think it'll look better. Plus it goes with more vintage kind of look as well, that you've got with those hands and the indices, the Lume on them, the vintage style, the yellowy colour. The listing actually calls it orange, but they're definitely more yellow. But that's pretty much it, guys. I've rambled on a little bit here. Don't normally tend to do this with the wrist shot bit. If you want this unique dial, because I haven't seen it anywhere else, for the price, I think this is quite a good watch. But I'll leave that up to you. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you in the next one.